If you're seeing this, it's not random. Listen until the end, chosen one.
Chosen ones, this message is for you and only for you. If you are not walking the divine path that God has set for you, then this video is not for you. But if you are one of the chosen, this message will resonate deeply within your spirit. It has come to you at just the right time, and I promise you, this will change your life. There is a divine purpose behind every twist and turn of your journey, and I want you to hear this truth today. There are many times you may feel forgotten, abandoned by those you raised, those you helped, and those you loved. But know this, it is not that they have truly forgotten you. This is a spiritual process. God has set you apart for a purpose that others simply cannot understand at this moment. But when the time is right, they will see you, they will recognize you. This is a message that will guide you, comfort you, and empower you to keep moving forward, even when the world seems to have left you behind. So, I ask you now, chosen ones, drop a 777 in the comments if you feel the truth of this message deep in your soul. Let me know you're with me, that you're here to receive this. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share this message with others who need to hear it. It's time to dive in.
The heavy burden of divine calling, chosen ones. I know the weight you carry, and I understand the burden that rests heavily on your shoulders. Being chosen by God is not a path that many walk, but it is one that carries immense responsibility. It is a burden that is not meant for everyone, and that is why only a select few are called to walk this divine journey. From the outside, people may not understand your struggle. They may see you as different, perhaps even distant, but what they fail to see is the inner strength and divine purpose that drive you forward. This journey is not easy, and it is not meant to be. You were chosen not because of your ease, but because you are capable of withstanding the trials and the tests that come with the calling. You are being shaped, refined, and prepared for a destiny that is greater than anything the world can offer. The weight of this calling often leads to moments where you feel misunderstood or even forgotten. Those you raised, loved, and invested your time and energy into may distance themselves from you, not because of your actions, but because they cannot fully comprehend the divine purpose that drives you. They may not understand why you must sacrifice, why you must walk alone at times, or why your heart feels burdened in a way that they cannot relate to. But this is the essence of the calling. You are not meant to be understood by everyone. You are not meant to fit into the world's standards or expectations. The chosen ones are set apart, not by their own choosing, but by God's divine will. And as you walk this path, you will face moments of loneliness, confusion, and doubt. There will be times when the people you've raised, the people you've poured your heart into, will turn away. It will feel as though you are forgotten, but this is part of the journey. It is part of the refining process that God has laid before you. You must understand that this separation is not a punishment. It is a preparation. When God calls you, He does not call you to walk the same path as everyone else. He calls you to something higher, something greater, and in doing so, He separates you for a purpose. The people you've helped may not understand, but they are not meant to. The true purpose of your calling is to elevate you and prepare you to carry out a mission that others cannot see yet. And as you move forward, you may feel abandoned, but in reality, you are being groomed for greatness. The burden you carry is heavy, yes, but it is also holy. The path you walk is not for the faint of heart. You have been chosen because God knows you can carry the weight of His purpose. Every trial you face, every heartache you endure, is part of the process of strengthening your spirit, refining your character, and positioning you to fulfill the divine mission that God has set before you. This calling requires you to dig deep into your faith. It calls for you to trust God in ways that others cannot understand. It asks you to step into the unknown, to embrace the pain of growth, and to trust that every trial is working together for your good. You may not see the full picture now, but understand this. You are being prepared for something much bigger than yourself. There will be times when you feel exhausted, when the weight of the calling feels unbearable, and when you question if anyone truly understands what you're going through. But in those moments, remember this: God never leaves you. The burden may be heavy, but His grace is sufficient. He has equipped you with everything you need to carry out His will, even when it feels like the world is against you. Being chosen means walking a path that others will not understand. It means that you will face trials and challenges that seem impossible to overcome. But know this, chosen one, with every burden you bear, God is preparing you for the greatness He has destined for you. You may not see it now, but every trial, every moment of separation, every feeling of being forgotten is shaping you into the person God needs you to be. And as you continue on this journey, know that you are not alone. God is with you every step of the way, guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing you to carry out the divine mission that has been entrusted to you. So while the burden may be heavy, remember that it is a burden of honor. It is the weight of divine purpose, and you, chosen one, are more than capable of carrying it. Divine separation, a necessary process. Chosen ones, I need you to understand something very crucial on your journey. The separation you feel from those around you, the distance that seems to grow between you and the people you love, is not a punishment. It's a necessary part of your divine calling. The very essence of your journey involves this separation. While it may feel painful, isolating, and even unfair, it is in these moments of solitude that God is preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. You see, when God calls you, He calls you to a higher purpose, one that requires refinement and a deep connection with Him. And in order to fully embrace that calling, you must be separated from the distractions, attachments, and even the comfort of those you hold dear. It's not about abandoning relationships. It's about setting yourself apart to fulfill the mission that God has uniquely designed for you. This divine separation is an invitation to be transformed, to grow, and to walk into your purpose in ways that are not possible when you are tied to the familiar and the comfortable. In these moments of separation, you may feel as though you have been abandoned. Perhaps those who you have helped, those who you've loved unconditionally, have distanced themselves from you. They may not understand why you are so focused on the path ahead, or why your connection with them seems to be fading. This is when your faith will be tested. You will be tempted to doubt yourself, to question why God is allowing this to happen. But I'm here to tell you, chosen ones, that this is part of the process. It's not meant to harm you. It's meant to refine you. Look at the lives of those whom God has used in the past. Did they not go through periods of isolation and separation? Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before God called him to lead the Israelites. Jesus himself spent 40 days and nights alone in the wilderness before beginning his ministry. The greatest figures in spiritual history did not walk their paths in the comfort of the world's expectations. They were separated, they were refined, and they were prepared to fulfill the divine purposes set before them. This divine separation is not a rejection, it is a divine refinement. Think about how gold is refined. The gold must be separated from impurities, heated at high temperatures, and purified until only the precious metal remains. Similarly, your spirit must go through the heat of divine separation to remove distractions, doubts, and the attachments that could prevent you from walking into the fullness of your purpose. You are being prepared for greatness, but it requires you to be set apart, to walk a path that not many can understand. God knows the potential within you, and He knows that in order for you to fully step into your calling, you must be purified. He allows this separation because He is shaping you, molding you into a vessel that can carry His glory and fulfill the mission He has entrusted to you. Without this separation, without this period of growth, you would not be ready to carry the weight of the responsibility that comes with being chosen. It's in the solitude that you begin to hear God more clearly. It's in the silence that you find the strength to carry on. The distractions of the world, whether they come in the form of people, expectations, or the noise of life, are stripped away in the process of separation. And in this silence, God's voice becomes louder, His presence more real. You learn to rely on Him alone, to trust Him completely, and to know that He is with you even when the world feels distant. But let me make this clear, chosen ones. This process of divine separation is not easy. There will be moments of doubt. There will be days when you question your path, wondering why you must endure this loneliness. You will wonder if anyone sees your sacrifice, if anyone understands the weight you carry. But I assure you, God sees you. He knows your struggles, your pain, and your heart. And He is using every single moment of separation to prepare you for something beyond your comprehension. This divine separation is not just about physical distance from others, it's about spiritual elevation. As you move forward in your calling, you will begin to see that the world no longer holds the same appeal. The desires, the attachments, and the pursuits that once seemed important will begin to fade into the background. And this isn't something that happens all at once. It is a gradual process, one that unfolds as you grow deeper into your purpose. Your focus sharpens, your heart becomes more aligned with God's will, and your spirit becomes more attuned to the divine calling that is unfolding before you. Understand this, chosen one. God's timing is always perfect. The separation you feel is not forever. There will come a time when you are fully prepared, fully refined, and ready to re-enter the world and fulfill your divine mission. But until then, trust the process. Trust that every moment of separation is working together for your good. Trust that God is making you stronger, purer, and more capable of carrying out the purpose He has set for you. This period of divine separation is not for nothing. It is leading you to a place of spiritual strength and divine understanding that you could not achieve if you were constantly surrounded by the noise of the world. In this silence, you will find your true strength. You will learn to rely on God alone, and when the time comes, you will be ready to walk into your purpose with the authority, wisdom, and clarity that only comes from having been refined through separation. So, chosen ones, embrace this time. It may not be easy, but it is essential. Know that God is preparing you for something far greater than what you see in your present circumstances. And when the time is right, you will emerge from this season of separation stronger than ever before, ready to fulfill the mission that has been entrusted to you. Trust the process. Trust that God is refining you for greatness. The spiritual nature of forgetting. Chosen ones, you are walking a path that few understand, a journey that often leaves you feeling isolated, misunderstood, and, at times, forgotten. I know that many of you have felt this deeply. People you've raised, those you've invested your love and energy into, may seem to have turned their backs on you. They may forget the importance of your presence in their lives, or they may not recognize the divine purpose you carry. But I want you to understand something important. The concept of forgetting is not as it seems. It is deeply spiritual, and there is a divine reason behind it. When people forget you, it is not necessarily a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of their inability to see the divine calling on your life. Those who are not spiritually awakened or attuned to God's plan for you may simply not understand your purpose. They might not be able to see the depth of your journey or the weight of your calling. And this is where the spiritual nature of forgetting comes in. It is not a human oversight, but a divine separation that must occur in order for you to fulfill your purpose. You were chosen for a higher purpose, one that requires you to be set apart from the world's expectations. God has placed His calling on your life, and this often means that the people around you, those you once shared close bonds with, cannot fully comprehend the path you are walking. They may see you as distant, lost, or even arrogant, but in reality, you are simply walking a road that they cannot understand because it is not meant for them. The spiritual calling you carry is not meant to be fully recognized by everyone, and that is why you may feel forgotten. Now you might ask, why would God allow this? Why would He allow you to feel abandoned, especially when you are fulfilling His will? The answer lies in the nature of divine purpose. When God calls someone to walk a divine path, there are certain sacrifices that must be made. One of the biggest sacrifices often involves the separation from people, places, and things that you once held dear. It's not that they don't matter, but they can no longer be a part of the divine mission that God is preparing you for. This separation is not punishment, it is preparation. It's part of the refining process that shapes you into the vessel God needs you to be. And in this process, those who are not aligned with your purpose may begin to fade away, either gradually or suddenly. This forgetting is a necessary part of the journey because it creates space for God's plan to unfold. The people who cannot walk with you on this path may drift away because their purpose is not aligned with yours, and they are not meant to see the full picture of what God is doing in your life. In the spiritual realm, forgetting is not about rejection, but about divine alignment. God needs you to be aligned with His will, and in order to do so, He must sometimes remove distractions, including people who cannot walk this path with you. These individuals may still love you, but their love may not be able to see the divine mission that is unfolding before you. They may not be able to support you in the way that you need, because their spiritual vision is not yet attuned to the higher calling that you are walking in. There is also the reality that when you are chosen, you often have to experience certain things alone. This loneliness, this feeling of being forgotten, is part of the process. You are being tested, refined, and prepared for the weight of the calling that you are carrying. It is in the solitude that you are able to connect with God in a deeper way. It is in the solitude that your faith is strengthened and your reliance on God grows stronger. This is where the true transformation takes place. Let me share this with you. God allows this forgetting because He wants you to rely fully on Him. When you are walking this divine journey, the temptation is always there to look to others for validation, for support, and for approval. But God wants to teach you that your validation comes from Him alone. He wants you to know that even when others forget you, He never will. His love for you is constant, His purpose for you is unwavering, and His plan for your life is far greater than what anyone else can offer. The divine forgetting also serves to clarify your mission. As those who do not align with your purpose begin to fade, you will begin to attract people who do. The ones who are meant to walk with you to support your calling will come into your life when the time is right. But until that moment, you must learn to walk in confidence, knowing that the right people will recognize you when God allows it. In the meantime, you must trust that this period of separation and forgetting is necessary for your growth and for the fulfillment of your divine purpose. In the Bible, we see numerous examples of this divine forgetting. Think about Jesus, who was rejected and forgotten by those who once followed Him. He was misunderstood, even by His closest disciples, but He remained steadfast in His mission. The people who forgot Him were not the ones who were meant to recognize His divine calling at that time. But in the fullness of time, the world would come to know Him for who He truly was. His mission was fulfilled not by the validation of others, but by His unwavering commitment to God's purpose. Chosen ones, I need you to understand that the spiritual nature of forgetting is a blessing, not a curse. It is a divine act that aligns you with God's will. It is part of the refining process that allows you to walk the path that has been set before you, unhindered by the expectations or limitations of others. While it may hurt, while it may feel like you've been abandoned or forgotten, remember that God is with you every step of the way. He is refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you to fulfill the divine purpose that only you can fulfill. So embrace the forgetting for what it truly is, a divine separation that is necessary for your spiritual growth. Do not seek validation from those who do not understand your calling. Trust that God sees you, He knows you, and He is leading you to fulfill a mission that is greater than anything this world can offer. The journey will not be easy, but it will be worth it. Keep your eyes fixed on God, for He is the one who will never forget you. In the Bible, we see numerous examples of this divine forgetting. Think about Jesus, who was rejected and forgotten by those who once followed Him. He was misunderstood, even by His closest disciples, but He remained steadfast in His mission. The people who forgot him were not the ones who were meant to recognize his divine calling at that time. But in the fullness of time, the world would come to know him for who he truly was. His mission was fulfilled not by the validation of others, but by his unwavering commitment to God's purpose. Chosen ones, I need you to understand that the spiritual nature of forgetting is a blessing, not a curse. It is a divine act that aligns you with God's will. It is part of the refining process that allows you to walk the path that has been set before you, unhindered by the expectations or limitations of others. While it may hurt, while it may feel like you've been abandoned or forgotten, remember that God is with you every step of the way. He is refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you to fulfill the divine purpose that only you can fulfill. So embrace the forgetting for what it truly is, a divine separation that is necessary for your spiritual growth. Do not seek validation from those who do not understand your calling. Trust that God sees you, He knows you, and He is leading you to fulfill a mission that is greater than anything this world can offer. The journey will not be easy, but it will be worth it. Keep your eyes fixed on God, for He is the one who will never forget you. Your journey is no different. You may feel like you are walking through a desert, but understand that the desert is where God often prepares His people for what is to come. It is in the barren places that your faith is tested and refined. It is in the dry seasons that you learn to trust God for your every need. And when you come out of that desert, you will be stronger, more resilient, and more prepared to carry out the divine mission that has been entrusted to you. Chosen ones, you must keep walking even when the world seems silent. You may not see the fruits of your labor right now. You may wonder if anyone notices the sacrifices you've made or the struggles you've endured. But trust me, God sees you. He sees every tear, every moment of pain, every time you felt alone. And He is using all of it to shape you into the vessel He needs you to be. Your journey may be long and it may be hard, but it is leading you to a place of purpose, fulfillment, and divine alignment. And as you keep walking, even alone, you will begin to see God's hand at work in ways you never expected. You will encounter people along the way who are meant to walk with you, who will recognize your purpose, and who will stand beside you when the time is right. But remember this, you must first walk alone in order to recognize who is truly meant to walk with you. Not everyone will stay, and not everyone will understand. But those who are meant to be part of your journey will come at the right time, and together you will fulfill the divine mission that God has placed in your heart. So, keep walking, chosen ones, even when it feels like the road is long and lonely. Know that God is with you. He is strengthening you, refining you, and preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. Trust the process. Embrace the solitude, and keep walking. For you are on a path that leads to a purpose greater than anything this world can offer. Your obedience in this season of loneliness will bear fruit in ways you can't yet imagine. Keep walking, because your destiny awaits. Understanding divine timing. Chosen ones, I know that there are moments on your journey when you find yourself asking, why is this taking so long? Or, why does it seem like nothing is happening even though I'm doing everything I'm supposed to? These moments of frustration are natural, but they often come from a lack of understanding about something crucial: divine timing. God's timing is not like our timing, and until we truly grasp the concept of His timing, we may struggle to find peace on the path He has set for us. First, let's make one thing clear. Divine timing is perfect. It doesn't make mistakes. It is not early, and it is never late. It is always right on time. But this truth can be difficult to embrace when we're in the midst of waiting. We live in a world where everything happens instantly. We expect quick answers, fast results, and immediate gratification. When things don't unfold the way we expect, we start to doubt the process. However, divine timing is about learning to trust that God is orchestrating every detail of our lives for His glory and our good. Understanding this is essential to living in peace and remaining faithful even when we don't see the fruit of our labor right away. God sees the full picture. He sees the beginning, the middle, and the end. We, on the other hand, see only what's in front of us. This is why our timing often feels off. We might think that we're ready for something, that we've done all the work, or that the moment has arrived. But God knows us better than we know ourselves. He understands exactly when we will be able to handle the responsibility, the blessings, and the challenges that come with His plan. Sometimes we aren't quite ready yet, no matter how hard we try or how much we want it. Divine timing requires patience. It requires trust. It requires surrendering your will to God's greater plan. And most importantly, it requires faith that He knows what He's doing. In the waiting period, God is not absent. He is working behind the scenes, preparing you, refining you, and aligning circumstances to bring everything together at the right moment. You are never forgotten in this process. You are being shaped, tested, and strengthened for what is ahead. This is where many people fall short. They get impatient. They grow weary. They begin to question whether God is really listening or if He even cares. But I want to remind you that God is always working, even when you can't see it. There are things happening in the spiritual realm that we cannot perceive with our natural eyes. The delays, the waiting, and the silence from God are all part of His perfect plan. He is moving things around, aligning hearts, opening doors, and preparing the world for what you are about to step into. Think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph had dreams, big dreams, dreams that God had given him about his future. But those dreams didn't come to fruition right away. In fact, they were delayed for many years, and Joseph went through a long season of trials, betrayal, and hardship. He was sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned, and forgotten by those he helped. If anyone had reason to doubt God's timing, it was Joseph. But throughout all the hardships, Joseph remained faithful. And in God's perfect timing, he was raised from prison to power, second only to Pharaoh, and his dreams were fulfilled. God's plan for Joseph didn't unfold overnight. It required years of preparation, testing, and refinement. But in the end, Joseph's story was a testimony to the power of divine timing. We can all learn from Joseph's example. When things seem delayed, or when we find ourselves in difficult seasons, it is not a sign that God has forgotten us or that He isn't listening. It is a sign that He is preparing us for something even greater than we could have imagined. Joseph's journey was not easy, but it was necessary. The time he spent in hardship and waiting was part of his preparation for his ultimate calling. If he had been elevated too soon, he wouldn't have been equipped for the responsibility that came with it. In the same way, you may be going through a period of waiting or struggle, but remember this: God is preparing you for something greater. Another important aspect of divine timing is understanding that God's timing is often about more than just us. There are other people involved in the fulfillment of God's plan. We might think that the delay or waiting period is all about us, but God is also working on the people, circumstances, and situations around us. There are people who need to be in the right place at the right time, just as you do. God's timing is about aligning everyone and everything to bring about His perfect will. It's like a beautiful symphony. Each note, each instrument, each pause has its place. When you're waiting, it's easy to feel like you're not part of the bigger picture, but know that God is orchestrating everything around you. He is preparing everything for the moment when everything will fall into place. It's also crucial to remember that divine timing often doesn't make sense from a human perspective. We are limited by our understanding of time. God, however, is not confined by time. He operates in a realm where the past, present, and future are all aligned, and He knows exactly when to release His plans. Our impatience and frustration come from the fact that we can't see the whole picture. But God sees it all, and He knows what's best for us. Sometimes the delays are not a setback. They are God's way of positioning us for greater things. The time you're spending waiting is not wasted time. It's a season of preparation. And the waiting will be worth it when the time comes. So, chosen ones, how do you live in divine timing? The answer is simple: trust. Trust that God is working. Trust that He has not forgotten you. Trust that when the time is right, He will open the doors, He will align the circumstances, and He will fulfill the promise He made to you. But until that moment comes, be faithful. Continue to walk the path, continue to grow, continue to trust in His timing. The moment will come. And when it does, you will see that everything that happened before was part of the plan to prepare you for the destiny He has set before you. Patience, chosen ones, is a powerful virtue. It's not easy to wait, but it's in the waiting that we grow. It's in the waiting that we learn to depend on God, to trust His ways, and to align ourselves with His perfect will. And when the moment comes, you will be ready, not because of your own efforts, but because God has prepared you for such a time as this. Embrace divine timing. Trust the process. And know that when God is ready, nothing can stop what He has planned for you. Keep walking in faith, even when it feels like things are moving slowly, because the moment will come, and it will be perfect in every way. Conclusion. The divine purpose of being chosen. Chosen ones, as we come to the end of this journey, I want you to reflect on something deeply important. Your divine purpose. You were not chosen by accident. You were not set apart for no reason. There is a higher calling on your life, one that goes far beyond anything this world can offer. The road you are walking, though challenging and often lonely, is the path that leads to the fulfillment of God's grand design. Being chosen is not just about receiving blessings, though those will come. It is about the responsibility you carry, the mission you have been entrusted with. You are the vessels through which God's love, power, and purpose will be made manifest in the world. It is a calling that requires patience, faith, and unwavering trust in His timing. And even when it feels like the world has forgotten you, or you are walking this path alone, remember that God is always with you, guiding and refining you for the task at hand. This journey is not about recognition from others, it is about fulfilling the destiny that God has uniquely assigned to you. It is a divine mission that will impact lives, change hearts, and fulfill His will. You may not see the full picture now, but trust that each step, each trial, each moment of separation is preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. So, chosen ones, continue to walk with confidence, knowing that you were chosen for this purpose. Keep your faith strong, your heart pure, and your eyes fixed on God. Your purpose is divine, your calling is real, and in God's perfect timing, everything will come together for His glory.